Alright everyone, this is Fireally and Smart Devin, and welcome back to the Mysteries of Hyrule. Today we are talking about not Breath of the Wild, but Ganondorf.
Feels like it's just so long since we've done a Not Breath of the Wild episode. It's been a whole 3 episodes since we did a Not Breath of the Wild episode.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got some Ganondorf theories that I found while... Oh dang, why did I do this? I think I saw some fan art of Ganondorf, and then I decided Ganondorf episode. Alright, so we're gonna go, in this episode, it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna go through Ganondorf's life and how it turns out in the 3 different timelines, starting with, of course, Ganondorf's origins in Ocarina of Time, and even before that. We'll talk about that. So you ready?
History lesson, go.
Here we go! Alright, we're gonna start off with a theory that the Gerudo tribe descended from Groose. You've probably heard this one before, and I like it because Groose has been let loose, and Groose is best ever.
Put him in your
Alright, so the theory behind this is that, I should say the evidence behind this is that Groose shares similar features to the Gerudo race. He's got his pompadour-licious, fiery red hair, and he's got his golden eyes and brazen skin. He's all buff like Ganondorf. He's like the only character in Skyloft as well with these features, and characters with gold eyes are few and far apart, except in the Gerudo. I'm just gonna point that out. So at the end of Skyward Sword, Groose and his buddies are seen flying towards the Nehru Desert. And if you remember from Skyward Sword, the Gerudo dragonfly is found in the Nehru. Groose may have let his buddy Stritch, who flew, his bug-loving friend Stritch, who flew with him to the Nehru Desert, he probably let him name the desert after the Gerudo butterfly. He said, "I know this bug, this is the Gerudo butterfly. No, dragonfly. This is the Gerudo dragonfly." And Groose said, "Alright, Gerudo, works for me, let's do it." So they called it the Gerudo Desert. Now the imprisoned would have escaped if not for Groose and his Groosinator, assisting Link by knocking the imprisoned out of the sky with his awesome giant bombs. So when Demise cursed Link and Zelda he might have also cursed Groose's lineage by making his revenge take place in the form of Groose's great something grandson. Ganondorf is Groose's distant grandson.
So there's one other theory to Groose having the curse of Demise that we were able to come up with, and that's, well, Groose kind of technically does share both the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero. He has both of their friendship. Granted, there is a ton of people in Skyloft with this, so that's kind of the shifty one. It's kind of like, well, it's technically a possibility, but there's 1,000 holes and loopholes that go along with it. The second one is the one I think a lot more to, is the spirit of the hero. There's a theory that the spirit of the hero is the player. Because think about it. The spirit of the hero guides Link, and you technically tell Link to do 100 different things all the time. And
including jump off a cliff 100 times trying to get that heart piece.
Yes. And many other different things, and it is canonized that the 100% are the canon thing. We learned this later on, after our discussion on good or evil Link, because the story actually confirms that he used the Fierce Deity mask, which means 100% are the canon.
I still want to know what's canon. Does Link canonically give the Colin's love letter to the hand in the toilet, or does he canonically give it to the girl he has a crush on?
You do both.
But you can only do one in one playthrough. Go play Skyward Sword again and give that letter to the hand in the toilet, and then it will be in Colin's room every night, telling him how beautiful and sweet he is.
Anyway,
I personally think that the first theory doesn't hold a lot of merit, so impress me with this one.
Anyway, so the theory of the spirit of the hero being the player is that you guide Link, the spirit of the hero guides Link, and it essentially brings people to their destiny. So the theory is that it's the player. So based off of that, you actually control Groose for a few moments in the game, and there's actually a point where you control technically Link and Groose at the same time when you throw Link onto the head of Demise while he's flying up there, which would mean that he has the spirit of the hero, so he is also bound to that curse.
Wait, so that means Faye also has the spirit of the hero, and Does it count if in Wind Waker when Link hypnotizes his friends into doing what he wants? Does that count?
I don't think it really does count, but then again, if you're a sage, you're gonna get attacked by Demise anyway.
Yeah, you don't even need that curse to get attacked by Demise, I guess. Who is it? That thief girl, maybe, in Link Between Worlds. She's got the spirit of the hero in Lorule.
You could take control of her? Well, the spirit of
kinda.
Demise only works in Hyrule, though.
Guess so.
Because that's where the blood of the goddess is. It's not in Lorule.
Or Termina, so Cafe's out, I guess. Unless he goes to Hyrule. Fanfiction time.
So that's the theory that I kind of like more, because even Demise, even if you throw the whole spirit of the hero out the window, Demise himself implies that Groose has the spirit of the hero by saying, let's see, so specifically the 3 lines that Demise says I've been referring to is, those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero are eternally bound to this curse, blah 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 blah, so see. And then the other one is, so you and that other human would stand before obliteration to aid the goddess, would you? So that could technically, that is definitely spirit of the hero. That's basically what you do as the hero, is to ensure that the goddess can perform her job to overwatch Hyrule.
Wait, did Miles really say you and that other hero?
He actually does. He says you and that other human.
Oh, other human. I thought he said other hero.
No, but to be fair, he has met absolute 0 heroes until this point. So
That's true.
that is the biggest thing for that, is Groose and Link are the only things that have ever stood up against him, save it be the Gorons and so forth and so on battling his minions. No one has actually gone up to him face to face and said, "Go get him, Link. I've got Zelda. This is what you need to do. Go get him." And Link's the only one that's like, "I will kill you."
I wish in hero mode, Link jumped and saved Zelda, and then Groose went to go fight Demise. I think that would have been great for hero mode.
He doesn't have the Master Sword, though.
Link, I'm gonna borrow this for a second.
So, he didn't say you too. He directly sends this to one of the 2 of them. Most people, and it's probably more logical to say this is at Link because it shows his angry face at that moment. But it could have been
he is
Groose.
talking to Link. He is talking to Link. That's kind of reading a little deep into it if you're assuming it's Groose.
Well, to be fair, Groose is the only one that actually was willing to basically to fall off the cliff for Zelda. Like, Link does a lot, but he doesn't jump off the cliff.
Yeah, he has to be pushed.
Yes, he does have to be pushed. Groose would have just jumped off. So, there's something like that. And it's interesting that Demise does only direct this at one of them, since they both go for it. And Groose has hit him a few times, and he's hit him pretty hard. He's knocked him out of the sky. So, like I said, it could be towards either one of them. This Demise wouldn't know how much Groose hurt him, because he's in the past, but Gearheim does. So he actually may know what Groose did, and he might be directing that to him. So to me, it's really interesting that he only directs that to one of them, specifically because the line before he's talking to both of them.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely Nintendo writing this said he's directing this at Link. And while it's fun to theorize that maybe he was talking to Groose too, I do hold true that Groose is pretty much every bit as like standing against Demise as Link is. He's just not like the fighting type, I guess.
Well, if he had the Groosenator, he probably would have shot him.
See, in Skyward Sword 2, this is what Breath of the Wild used to be called. The Groosenator is going to get wheels and tank treads on it. And then Groose is going to go around Hyrule on his Groosenator tank mode and fling giant bombs at Calamity Ganon.
Yeah.
Also coming to Mario Kart DLC Pack 3. I mean, even if Groose isn't directly cursed, I'm sure Demise is going to go out of his way to give him a bad time, like how we talked about earlier with Groose's descendant maybe being Ganondorf.
Yeah,
What do you think?
It kind of makes sense to me because his threat was literally to like punish himself. It's much more like painful if the curse placed on you is like your descendant, your best friends. have to have their descendants, like, kill each other.
Yeah.
But I never really bought the whole went to Lanero Desert thing because they go, they go up. It shows them going towards more of the sky than Lanero Desert. And it would explain how we have some kind of a history in the Minish Cap because Groose says he calls it the Legend of Groose. We would have more stuff on the surface level than, like, this thing happened in the sky if we had Groose go to the Gerudo Desert.
Yeah. There is that whole piece about the Gerudo Dragonfly, but that's really only evidence, assuming Groose did go to the Gerudo Desert, or Lanayru Desert, as it were.
The other thing is he would have called it Groose something.
Yeah, he would have called it the Groose Desert. Debunked. It would have been the Groose Desert.
He called the sacred grounds Groose Land or something like that.
Yeah, Groose. No, he called the surface Groose Land. The whole world is Groose Land. Alright, so the first timeline we're going to start out with Ganondorf is the hero defeated timeline. Now, after Link slays Ganon, we're kind of skipping over Ocarina of Time, ironically. But after Link slays Ganondorf, wrong. After Ganondorf slays Link in a magnificent attempt, and he is sealed once again or killed, I don't know, by Zelda and, I don't know, the angry mobs. I don't know how this happens, but eventually in the Oracle games, Kotake and Kume attempt to revive Ganon. So they were supposed to sacrifice Zelda in the Oracle games, but they failed and sacrificed themselves instead because, turns out they got Pig Ganon, not Ganondorf, just the beast. And when he was revived, he seemed more like a monster than a man. He was a mindless beast, kinda. So he's arrived again in A Link to the Past and Zelda 1, and both times he only appeared as Ganon, not Ganondorf. The only sign of intelligence we see from Ganondorf in this timeline is in A Link to the Past when he manipulates Link by taking the form of Aghanim. That's really the only sign of intelligence, but even then, he's just Ganon, not Ganondorf. The rest of the time, he's more of just like a mindless pig beast. So the theory is that because Kume and Kotake sacrificed themselves instead of Zelda, the ritual was like incomplete. So instead of bringing back Ganondorf, they brought back Ganon, just the corpse zombified. They didn't bring back his full spirit. So he's just doomed to get revived again and again as a mindless beast in this timeline. So what do you think?
This seems pretty plausible to me because there is like no rhyme or reason to what Ganon does in the hero defeated timeline, save it be he wants to destroy everything, and when he does the Aghanim thing. It would seem like to me the sacrifice pulled out Ganon's power rather than well, the power of Ganondorf. They left the dwarf, you see what I did there, in the seal, and then they just took out the power which he last used to become Ganon. So the power just kind of stays as Ganon, is kind of what I'm thinking might be the case here.
I'd also like to point out that in the Historia, it describes him in this timeline as a beast with no resemblance to the Gerudo King Ganondorf. Kind of like emphasizing the point that he's just been reduced to an unintelligent pig.
Yeah, it would seem to me the whole Aghanim plot is when Ganondorf, the person, actually starts getting out of the seal. Kind of like how we have Girahim running around.
Whatever happened to him? So that'll be another episode.
He turned into a sword and then it got poof.
Poof to where? So next timeline we're going to talk about is the Child timeline, which is one of my favorites. It's got the best Zelda game. It's got Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, and my first Zelda game, Four Sword Adventures. Alright, so in the Child timeline, Ganon is sealed in the Twilight Realm for 100 years or something. We don't really know exact times in Zelda, almost ever. After Link goes back in Ocarina of Time, the Triforce splits itself into the possession of its true owners, so Link gets the Triforce courage even though nothing's really happened in that time. Ganondorf's getting the Triforce power even though he didn't really do anything for it. When Ganondorf discovers that he has the Triforce power, he's like, oh, convenient. So he uses its power to kill a sage, and then he gets sealed in the Twilight Realm. You know, if you've played Twilight Princess, you know this. So he begins to gain power in the Twilight Realm by manipulating Xanth to kind of do what he wants, like his puppet. And once Ganondorf is defeated in this timeline, he is killed. He's not reincarnating this time, he's killed. Sealed, killed. However, in Four Sword Adventures, we see a new Ganondorf arise, and in this game, you can talk to some Gerudo, and they'll say that they hate Ganondorf because he broke Gerudo law. And what is Gerudo law? Well, we know that the Gerudo are thieves, but we know that because of Nibiru that the Gerudo steal only because they have to and they have no other choice. So perhaps the law that Ganondorf broke is kind of like just starting needless violence or maybe trying to gain power and conquer other lands. So it could be that just because Ganon was being his power-hungry self all over again, and because that turned out so horrible for the Gerudo last time, they decided no more of that. And when the new Ganon started going around doing it, they decided enough of you, let's not name the next King Ganon. So Ganondorf goes on his power-hungry rampage. He gets the Trident of Power. He releases Vaati. He makes a couple Shadow Links, a couple hundred Shadow Links actually. He doesn't get the Triforce of Power. Facepalm. He totally could have beaten Link if he'd got the Triforce of Power with all that other stuff, but he doesn't get the Triforce of Power, and Link, I guess we can, maybe he'll get resurrected. We haven't exactly advanced that timeline in like 10 years. So what do you think about that timeline?
There's only one thing that I'm not really sure about. It's the Ocarina of Time Triforce splits itself back to its true owners. They did have it in Ocarina of Time, but it's not in Twilight Princess, save it be Ganondorf. Sure, it shows up on Link's paw, but that's about it, and then it's gone, and you never see nor hear of the Triforce of Courage again.
Well, they do reference the Triforce of Courage, like in that creepy cutscene. It shows the Shadow Links going after the Triforce, and
they go after the Triforce and they cover it up with their power, but they don't actually use any of it.
I'm just realizing how absent the Triforce was in Twilight Princess.
And then the other thing is the Triforce is tangible. So Link would have some sort of a tangible object, not just a tattoo, that would actually signify him having it in his possession. Same with Zelda, like, that's how it works in the Wind Waker, and that's how it works in Skyward Sword as well. You have to grab it, and then it gets on your hand.
Maybe it's in his pocket the whole time and he just never needs it.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe the Triforce is like in his spirit or something.
Well, the spirit of the hero seems to be what the Triforce of Courage dictates itself towards.
Yeah.
But the thing is anyone with the spirit of the hero, or anyone who touches the Master Sword, gets that crest on them swords regardless of whether or not they have the Triforce of Courage. So I'm willing to bet that that means you are worthy to have the Triforce of Courage, but you don't necessarily have it.
Interesting proposition. We could also talk about how exactly Ganon version 2 came about. I always assumed it was just a curse similar to Demise, where Ganon said, I'm also going to curse you to come back. And then the Demise curse and the Ganondorf curse decided, hey, we're both cursed Link to come back. You wanted to do it together? And they said, sure. So Ganondorf was reborn. How do you feel on that?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Vaati is technically chronologically the first incarnation of Demise, but he got busted out of prison because Link just grabbed a sword he saw in the woods. I don't think he exactly counts.
It's tough in Four Sword Adventures because we don't really know which is Demise. Is Ganon Demise or is Vaati Demise? Because in Minish Cap, we assume Vaati is Demise.
I imagine
it's the same Vaati, so is he still Demise, or is he like just Vaati now?
I'm pretty sure he broke the curse on himself by accident by taking the Light Force.
Yeah, maybe just the Light Force vanquished the Demise within him, and now Vaati is just
kind of
Vaati.
like how the Midna Light Spirit thing, they can't coincide together. The curse can't coincide with that.
Yeah, well maybe Vaati has always been someone who dislikes authority. That's why he hates Ezreal so much. Maybe he realized that he was just a reincarnation of Demise, and he felt used by Demise, and thus forced Demise out of him to show the world that he can be his own villain.
Yeah, except for he didn't do that at all. He's like, I have the Light Force, how come I can't kill you? AKA stole the blood of the goddess is the leading theory, or something like that. We're not exactly sure on what it is, but one of the most popular ones is it's the blood of the goddess.
We'll do a Vaati episode later too. I'm gonna put that on the immediate backlog. Cause Vaati's so good. Alright, so we have one more timeline to talk about, and that's the adult timeline. Otherwise called the Wind Waker timeline, because to be honest, who really cares about Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass? I'm sure those games are great, I'll get to them. We're really just gonna talk about Wind Waker, because that's the only thing Ganon's in. So in Wind Waker, Ganondorf had the Wind Waker Ganondorf is very interesting. He's very much different from any other time we've ever seen Ganondorf, because he had the opportunity to kill Link right when the Helm Rock King brought him to him. when he was snooping around the Forsaken Fortress. Hellmark King picks him up and shows him to Ganondorf. Ganondorf is looking at the hero of wind, and he is dressed like the hero of time. Ganondorf knows the hero keeps reincarnating. I'm pretty sure Ganondorf realizes that he's looking at the hero right now. So why didn't he just kill him instead of toss him in the ocean? Any half-wit villain knows that tossing him in the ocean ain't gonna drown him. If he's the protagonist, you can't kill him like that.
Well, he should have took a class from Lord Business.
In Wind Waker, Ganondorf always said that he wanted to restore the land of Hyrule to what it once was. He doesn't mention killing the hero. He's not all about power this time around. So the theory is that in the Wind Waker timeline, we see no Gerudo. This is obvious. Ganondorf realizes that he is guilty of destroying Hyrule, destroying the Gerudo, and basically causing all this trouble. He's feeling guilty for all of the sins he's committed. So in order to atone for himself, he wants to drain the flood of Hyrule and restore the land. He wants to restore the land of Hyrule because, to be honest, the Ganondorf doesn't hate Hyrule. He wanted to rule Hyrule because he liked Hyrule. He loved Hyrule. Wind Waker, he's all about just trying to get back this land that he loved. And he's ultimately foiled by the King of Red Lions because the King of Red Lions just wanted to prevent him from ever causing trouble again, despite the fact that at that point, Ganondorf really did have Hyrule's best interest in mind. So what do you think of that one?
I don't really think of Ganondorf as trying to have Hyrule restored for the good of Hyrule. I'm pretty sure he still wanted to rule it. Same with King Daphnes, which is kind of why King Daphnes is like, I don't want Hyrule. This is bad. Because he's like, there's me and Ganondorf, we're doing the exact same things. This can't be good. I already made the worst plan ever, and I feel bad about that. So I'm just gonna jump in front of Ganondorf and touch it first, and then go back to my boat.
Yeah, where did that King of Red Lions come from, by the way? He was nowhere near the boss fight.
However, there is one thing that does go for and against you. It's when Ganondorf's laughing, when King Daphnes is like, I want a future. He might be laughing at the irony because he's like, I want Hyrule back. That'll be great for them. There's a future there. But I'm pretty sure he's more laughing at, you're giving them a future? How their future's gonna be over in 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, Ganondorf is a real mystery in Wind Waker, but that is kind of like why Wind Waker Ganondorf is the best Ganondorf.
Yeah,
he's got personality, he's got depth, and he's got motives.
I mean, he does say, I coveted that wind, I suppose. More good Ganondorf thing, I guess. But it seems more like he just wants it all for himself.
I still think he could have done a better job at killing Link if he really wanted to.
He didn't really feel like it, though.
This guy's gonna take me down just like he always does, but meh, just toss him in the water.
I bet he more wanted to have Link watch him take over Hyrule after he just punched him a couple times. He could have left Link to live because of one reason. He knew he would go get the Triforce of Courage for him.
Well, that's a great point. Ganondorf was just
It's like, this is great. I get Zelda, and you get the Triforce of Courage, and we bring it all together for me.
Yeah! Great plan, Ganondorf. Let's do it.
Actually, it's my great plan, King Daphnes. Let's do it. Let's give Ganondorf the Triforce of Courage.
Yeah.
And wisdom. Alright, let's be honest. We
have the Trident of Power. He can have that too. Maybe the Minish Cap as well, and Majora's Mask.
Like, you have to question King Daphne's plan there. It is a terrible plan.
Well, I guess that's our episode.
Yeah, crazy one. Lots of opinions, lots of, well, theories. That's what it's all about. It's a bunch of different theories. So, thank you guys for watching this episode on, I guess it's more of like the history of Ganondorf.
Life and Times of Ganondorf.
The Life and Times of Ganondorf. That sounds cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Why?
I don't know how magic works. Do you?
Well, I know that magic has a specific amount in you, and then when you run out, you drop into the ocean.
I wonder how big Demise's green meter is. Maybe it has like multiple bars that covers half his screen. That's why we can't play as Demise, because you would just have too much magic. Good banter.